Okay, so Gavin McKenna just went number 1. He got drafted by Justin Bieber. Ivar Stenberg went number 2. And now the Vancouver Canucks are on the clock. I'm editing a JJ Peterka got traded to Boston video, and the folks on the Sportsnet broadcast at the moment are talking about how this is where the draft really, really opens up. I've got it behind the camera here. Can Caleb Malhotra be Vancouver's 3rd overall pick? Is it going to be Chase Reed? We've been seeing more and more info on Reed potentially being that guy. All right, here's Gary Bettman. The pick is in, Vancouver. Who's making the pick? Acclaimed actress? Is it Maria Hill? Yeah, it is. All right. All right. Kobe Smulders. I was like, wait a minute, Agent Maria Hill. All right. MCU, let's get some love in there. Oh, they're also debuting the new Canucks RBC patch. It's no longer TD. Caleb Malhotra! Okay, so they did it anyway. The Vancouver Canucks have drafted Caleb Malhotra 3rd overall at the 2026 NHL Entry Draft. And look, I feel like at this stage, with all of the smoke screens, we were hearing Malhotra's name for months with Alvin and Rutherford at the helm. We then started to get some doubters in there. Oh, Alvin is gone. Rutherford is an advisor now. Do the Sedins and Ryan Johnson like Malhotra as much as Alvin and Rutherford did or do, I guess? But Caleb Malhotra ends up being the pick, and while it is a pick that I personally have spoken out against because I'm really hesitant to say that the father-son dynamic would be a successful path in the National Hockey League. At the end of the day, if the Vancouver Canucks, the Sedins, Ryan Johnson, if they feel this is the guy, this is the right guy, and this is the best guy for the future, then that's the pick. That's the pick. Caleb Malhotra. You know, I said all this stuff about how I think he's got a Bo Horvat-like ceiling. Let's up that up a little bit. Let's say Jonathan Toews. Okay. Look at me stretching the goalposts now that he is officially a Vancouver Canuck. The best part about Caleb Malhotra is the fact that he will be heading over to the NCAA just a little bit later. Oh, here's that Peterka trade that we just made a video about. But Caleb Malhotra is committed to Boston University for 2026-2027. I'd say he is probably poised to having a very successful NCAA collegiate career, and even if that is just one season before coming over to the National Hockey League, I would not be surprised if Caleb, based off of what he did this previous season, is able to be a stud. Now, again, there were some, I don't want to say red flags per se, maybe yellow flags, because Caleb Malhotra last year with the Chilliwack Chiefs, he had 26 points in 44 games played. That is not really significant at all. I get it, he's 17, it's junior A hockey. There are tiers to how guys score in the BCHL, but Caleb Malhotra is a guy that was able to take that level of BCHL play into the OHL and totally rise up over the course of the calendar year. If you look at Caleb Malhotra and his splits, he finished off with 84 points in 67 games, and he had 26 points in 15 playoff games. But if you look at just what he did with the Brantford Bulldogs and the amount of points he was getting to open up the season, I mean, yeah, you can see it right here. You don't see ice times on elite prospects, but he was a consistent point producer from the get-go. After the Prospects Challenge, he really started to turn it on. Multi-point games here and there. December was a particularly great period for Caleb Malhotra and his point production. And that just carried over even more into the OHL playoffs. Unfortunately, the Bulldogs did lose, but still, there was a really great story out of Caleb Malhotra and him bolstering up his draft stock with his performance in the OHL. Let's read the scouting report before we get out of here. Caleb Malhotra With highlight, rapid handling moves, give-and-goes, tic-tac-toe plays, one-timers in reduced space, and hook passes, Caleb Malhotra filled his highlight reel just as often as he was preventing the opposition from adding to theirs. He has a larger frame and puck protection skills, and if you look at just the Elite Prospects Scouting Report guide, they have Caleb Malhotra as a Nick Suzuki type player. Okay, that's pretty good. I had Nick Suzuki more like a Viggo Bjork kind of comparable, or I had Viggo Bjork more like a Nick Suzuki comparable, if that makes sense. But them saying that Caleb Malhotra has shades of Nick Suzuki, an A-grade prospect, 7 out of 10 for passing, puck handling, hockey sense, and physical play, 5 out of 10 for skating, 6.5 out of 10 for shooting. I think that skating metric is what really pulls him more towards the Bo Horvat kind of label, but either way, Caleb Malhotra takes his spot as the top Vancouver Canucks prospect immediately after being selected here with the 3rd overall pick. Man, they've got Steve Nash going up there and getting interviewed by Kyle Bukauskas. That's really, really cool, man. Wow, there are childhood photos as well. I mean, it makes sense, right? These in the family, technically, so from one sporting legend, 7th overall Manny Malhotra, to another sporting legend, literally one of the GOATs of Canadian sports, Steve Nash. And now you've got 3rd overall Caleb Malhotra. And to be fair, Manny Malhotra did say in the pre-draft program that Caleb is a lot better than Manny was when Manny was Caleb's age. And Manny ended up going 7th overall, and he was a pretty good NHL player. Not the best point producer by any means, but he was a super clutch face-off guy and just an overall well-liked dude. So if Caleb Malhotra can bring proper leadership, good vibes, a good mentality, all while providing Nick Suzuki-level play on the ice, I'd say that's a pretty good pick. Now, I'm not sure if it's guaranteed that Caleb Malhotra's a 100-point center like Nick Suzuki is, but he's ranked in the top of this draft for a reason. Elite Prospects had him at number 5. He ends up actually going to Vancouver at number 3. His consolidated rank was 4th overall as well, so it may not have been a stretch. You could talk about Chase Reed, you could talk about the ceiling, you can talk about the American defenseman element of it all, but at the end of the day, Caleb Malhotra is a very fine pick. I personally, if it were up to me, if you twisted my arm and you forced me to make a pick myself, I honestly might have gone with Viggo Bjork, but hey, I'm not running a hockey team. So you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Caleb Malhotra is officially a Vancouver Canuck. It's Maria Hill from Avengers who makes the draft pick. What a crazy day it has been between her and Justin Bieber and Matthew Schaefer doing the broadcasts as well. It's been a pretty good program, and it's breezing by quickly, which is obviously what we care about the most. We got to make our video on JJ Peterka. I already recorded that. I was just editing it whilst this draft pick was going on, so I'm going to get back to doing that. But you can let me know your thoughts in the comment section. How do you feel about Caleb Malhotra, the newest Vancouver Canuck at 3rd overall? Sorry, Braden Coots, you're great, but you're no longer the number 1 top prospect at center in the Vancouver Canucks organization. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign on, and bye.